Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's in the 30s, and they're talking about snow later this week. So I guess we've avoided the oncoming wintry elements about as long as we're going to get away with. One of the top stories on my mind, because I guess I'm a lawyer, and because I think it signals something very dangerous about our society, which is the disregard for law, is that the Commission on the Supreme Court basically has issued a draft that they'll vote on later this week, and it's a thumbsucker. You know, we could do this, we could do that. We don't really recommend anything. It just goes to show bipartisan commissions are just another way to find paralysis in policy, to do nothing when the need is great, when the problem is obvious, when you can put 3 justices on the Supreme Court by a number of foul means, namely, they're all from the Federalist Society, they all pledge to ignore precedent and to get rid of Roe v. Wade. They all defer to a political calendar rather than what we would hope would be some dispassionate discussion of the law and what that should be going forward with whatever marginal iteration suggests an amendment to what's been said before in an earlier case. But, you know, I think there are senators and people, however, who are going to talk about this, and that'll make a big difference. I have a personal thing about chronic pain. I have never suffered it myself, knock on wood. We all have acute pain. We hurt an elbow, we fall, something like that. And we have a taste of what chronic pain is like, because we can't do what we want to do. It may distract us, make it less possible for us to think clearly, those kinds of things. But for, an aspirin or something usually gets us through that. But for people with chronic pain, unremitting pain, unbelievable pain on a scale of 0 to 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, making it impossible to sleep or to stay awake, making it difficult to do anything. And there are people who have this, and the only thing that can help them, and not all of them, is pain medication, opioids. We produce a level ourselves naturally, but we don't often have enough. And those who can't get pain medication, because some think nobody should have any pain medication. I once had a prosecutor tell me that the fact that I had dental surgery and was given a light opioid to recover afterwards, she said, we should turn that doctor in. I thought she was joking, but she was serious. You can't deal with people who are ignorant of medicine and science, and we see there's an epidemic of it. Some of us remember having read it, not living through it, that when the Wright brothers flew, the patent office was saying that they couldn't patent what they were doing because flight was impossible. And this for 2 years after they were flying. So, should it surprise us today that ignorance dominates and we do stupid things? Now, so what's got the bee in my bonnet today? Maya Zilovitz. I've never said her name aloud before, so if I forgive me. She's a columnist for the Washington Post. She writes very well. But today she said, opioids, the reason we have a problem with opioids is there's a need to connect. What planet is she from? This is a medicine at its best. Of course, there's always street drugs that people take to do all manner of things. But we're talking about a medicine that is to slowly release to take care of pain. And some people say you become addicted. No, you don't become addicted. You're dependent on it. And when you are dependent on it, the pain goes away, and you don't do it for a thrill. You do it so that you're not in pain constantly. And people who can't get this medication self-medicate. They take, they'll take heroin. They'll drink. They'll do all sorts of things. And in communities where people have to use their body as they get older and they hurt themselves, these people don't have the funds to do anything else but to take care of themselves this way. And so we're telling doctors, we're scaring doctors not to give pain medication. They should to people. And there are people who need pain medication and should get it. But doctors are terrified because they total the number, DEA does, And they go after doctors who have what they think is too many patients with pain medication. Impossible. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox on that one. We have Biden's going to talk to Putin. Well, let's analyze this as just the man on the street. Do you think for a minute America or anybody in NATO is going to send a single soldier to Ukraine to resist Putin? Now, do you think Putin understands that? Yes. So Putin has 90,000 or more troops on the border between Russia and Ukraine. So who has the upper hand here? So how do we stop him? Well, are we going to stop him by saying, if you do this, then we're going to put all sorts of sanctions on you? Well, will that do it? Well, what if he says, let me have my pipeline and I won't go forward? What if he says, don't let them ever join NATO, that is Ukraine, and my troops will withdraw? What does America do? The fact that we can't fight for something that we think is important means we're not a player. Am I suggesting war? No. But it's like we never know how to pick our fights, and we never prepare before the fight happens. You know, we've had this problem about Russian troops on that border going back to 2015. When are we going to wake up? I don't know. And why would Russia do it now? They say, oh, he's got problems in Russia. No. France has got an election. Germany is getting its sea legs after the change in leadership there. And here in America, Biden has his problems. Now, I'm supporting him. I think the problems are things that we can deal with, but that is the world condition. And why don't we talk about it as it is instead of this bullshit? They're saving us from the truth. They say they're giving us the truth, but they're saving us from the truth at the same time. Don't you worry, we'll take care of it. Well, really. The other thing that strikes me is there was a story buried in the paper about how somebody used their social media in kind of a deceptive way to arrange for 100 people to do a protest in D.C. These were the white supremacists. While we're playing with our fiddle, these white supremacists are recruiting adherents to their sorry cause in support of insurrection for autocracy in opposition to our democratic history. And we are doing nothing. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? And here's another thing. We're going after Pandora, which is how people are cheating on taxes and moving money around in offshore accounts. We can go after that, but we can't go after the criminals who are compromising our democracy. Makes no good sense. So I'm energetic because it helps me stave off the cold in which I traveled this morning. And there's something about the period after the fall when the colors disappear, except for the conifers, and there's still some green on the ground, and there are lots of browns and grays. And we reach our ultimate when true winter comes and the snow puts a blanket across everything and gives us the sense of nature purified, taking a holiday before a spring which now is so far away I can hardly contemplate it. So have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.